Thousands of Iranians have gathered in the country's capital of Tehran this morning, marking the 46th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution and the creation of Iran's Shiite theocracy. The annual commemorations come as President Trump restored his maximum pressure campaign on Iran. But Trump has suggested he'd be open to making a deal if Iran will change its plan to develop nuclear weapons. For more on the diplomatic situation with Iran, we're joined by Jamil Jaffer. He's the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute at George Mason University. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. First, help us understand how Iran is different today compared to when Trump was last in office.
Well, obviously, Iran has had a lot more freedom to engage in economic activity. The Biden administration, while it had reimposed some amount of sanctions, did not enforce them in a particularly aggressive manner. And so Iran is on the rise when it comes to economically. At the same time, politically, Iran is isolated. And in terms of its terror infrastructure, it's substantially been reduced as Israel has come after its terror infrastructure in Syria and Lebanon, going after Hezbollah, going after Hamas in the Gaza Strip. While the Houthis in Yemen continue to fight and get aggressive, they've failed to successfully conduct their campaign against Israel directly in the aftermath of the October 7th attacks.
Which is why the country is so significant. It's not just about what's happening internally, but in the Middle East, in the region. It does wield influence, but that appears, as you've just referenced, to be fluctuating and changing. So where does Iran and its influence stand now?
Well, look, obviously, Iran is on the retreat when it comes to its influence because of the loss of some of its significant proxy groups and their senior leadership. At the same time, Iran continues to want to play an aggressive role in the region, to use its proxy to conduct terror attacks around the region. And so while Iran is on the retreat and has been pushed back, there's no doubt that its leadership continues to have the desire to put pressure on nation states. They want to influence the new Syrian regime, even though they lost their client, Bashar Assad. And so the question is, can Iran return to a state of being a normal nation and function normally, not support terror groups and the like? And that's, I think, what President Trump and his team will be looking for in a nuclear deal. It won't just be about the nuclear issue. It'll be about their ballistic weapons. It'll be about the support of terrorist groups.
But without that nuclear ambition, Iran has always said it's a buffer. It protects them from any global power forcing them to do what they don't want to do. So is the nation likely to be open to talks with the Trump administration, considering what you've just mentioned, that Trump wants them to rethink that ambition?
Well, that, I think, is the biggest challenge. The Iranian regime realized that they could get a nuclear deal out of the United States under President Obama without giving up their proxy wars in the region, without giving up their ballistic missile program, which they actually accelerated after the Joint Comprehensive Plan of action, which was the original nuclear deal. And so in order for the Trump administration to get a better deal out of Iran, and a deal that can last, a deal that verifiably gets rid of their nuclear program and addresses these other issues, the United States has got to step up our pressure, and the international community has got to step up its pressure on Iran. The question is, can we do that effectively? And will Iran ultimately come around and do the right thing and give up that nuclear weapons ambition and give up its terror groups in the region?
All right, we'll keep watching this closely. Jamil Jaffer, we appreciate you joining us from Arlington, Virginia this morning.